Happy morning, dear friends. Here's yours, Dr. Ajanta. Welcome to day 42 session. Today we are just going to discuss about methods in file input and output. And various methods are there, and let me just see one by one. And these various methods available with the file object, and some we have already seen with an example in yesterday's sessions. And here we are having a complete list of methods in text mode with a brief descriptions, and kindly just have a look of this. And as like close, detach, or file number, read line, read lines, and writable, write. And so these are all the some of the things which we have seen yesterday. And here it is the complete list where we are making use of all the various methods that can be used under file objects. Okay, let me just go on to deleting the files. See here, dear friends, when we have seen in the yesterday's session, we have to make and remove a directory using OS module. Okay, so where again if we want to remove a file, we use only this OS module. And kindly have a look of it. When we just make it directly, here it forms an error. How come it is? Just kindly have a look. I just make the execution. See, the system cannot find the file specified example.txt. Actually it is there, but if the file does not exist, the remove method will rise an error. So it is good to use some condition for this. Condition in the sense, see here, with if condition, or whether making some condition loop. And see here the same example.txt where we are just making use of it. And if it is existed, it is just going to remove it. If doesn't exist, it has to specify that the file doesn't exist. So when on just removing, kindly, or that is deleting the file, kindly provide with a condition. Next, let me just move on to the file types. And from that which we just have seen many examples with text extension. And a file with text extension is very common form of data, and we have covered it in the previous sessions also. So that let me just move on to Json extension. Okay, so Json, that I have already provided here, JavaScript object notation. And actually it is string filled JavaScript objects, or whichever we just say in Python as a dictionary. And see here, dear friends, when we just provide a dictionary, yeah, it is must to have the key and values of that exact particular file. So whereas this JSON, a string from a dictionary, you can just specify it like this also in a single line. And we can just also use three codes and make it into multiple lines, and how some it can be. And see here, dear friends, how this exact JSON that can be made use of it. And if you want to change that JSON to a dictionary, we have to use a load method. We have to use load method, because sometimes if you want to change that JSON now file to make it as a dictionary and used very easy or very frequently in our Python file, yeah, it is very essential to have it by a single method which we just say as load. Okay, and see here, dear friends, here in making that JSON to be imported, and the same thing as with the key and values of that as like a dictionary format, we are just providing it, and it is loaded to change JSON to dictionary. We are just making it as a to load here and providing the file variable. Okay, and see here, once I just make it, yeah, here it is the exact class which now it is converted as into a data type as a dictionary. Okay, now let me make, even though the vice versa, dictionary to JSON. See here, dear friends, the same thing where we can make use of the a method is dumps. Okay, here only one thing we which we are just going to make use of conversion of dictionary to JSON. Here we are just using the method dumps, where this is what importing the necessary file, the library file, that is JSON. And after that you are just declaring the variable where this dictionary you want to convert it as a JSON file. You have to provide the json.dumps. And once after, see here we are just going to have the type of the JSON, sorry, type of the file, where it is in a string file, and see it is not a dictionary. Okay, fine. And the next one, let me just make, even though if you are just creating any file and you want to save it as a JSON file, see, we can also save our data as a JSON file. Let us save it as a JSON file using the following steps. Here is, for writing a JSON file, we use the same dumps, okay, or json.dumps method. It can take dictionary as an output file, or you can also make use of that ensure underscore ASCII format. Okay, that is false. And here we are also have to provide the indent is equal to, for the what is the total keys and value pairs. Okay, and with this we can just save our JSON file as providing it in a declaring as a dictionary and converting it into JSON saving. And let me just see, the exact file. Here it is. Yeah, just now it was saved. And see what is it in. Yeah, here it is our file. And let me just make use of the file with extension of CSV file. Yeah, see here dear friends, CSV stands for comma separated values, and this CSV is a simple file format used to store tabular data such as spreadsheet or database. So CSV is a very common data format in data science. And let me just make use of this CSV, creating a CSV in our working directory with the following content. And see here dear friends, when on just creating the content, what we are just going to do is the name, it is the exact variable that we are just going to provide the value as Ajanta. And for country it is India, for city it is Chennai, and skills and Python. So see here dear friends, when on just want to open it, if it is already exists, yeah, you are just going to write a that is overwrite it. And if it is not, you are just going to create it. And when I'm making that reader file, see here dear friends, we want to make it this as a file that which you just create it into a CSV. And what is the rows, whatever the exact rows, if we just providing, this has to be included into that of column names, that with this header. And whatever the data which you are just providing, the next to that of second column, that comes as the data. And see here you can also make use of that data, and here you can just specify it with the placeholder and provide the exact information. See here, let I just execute this. See here, this is what the column names are: name, country, city, and skills. And here we are not going to fetch the second row, but instead that with that value we are just making it as a key value. So that is a placeholder value, and we are just describing it in a sentence. Okay, let me just make use of that file with an extension of xlsx. Okay, before that let me just see where is the CSV file. Okay, actually the CSV file has been created. Okay, CSV underscore example, but it's not overwritten. Okay, here it is, but we want to make it as an just a second dear friends. No, it is not actually. Let me just make use of it. Fine. Next, let me just have descriptions of how to make use of xlsx format. So xlsx format, to read Excel files, we need to install xlrd package. Okay, so which we will cover in a package installation using pip. Okay, so where that we have to import that xlrd package, and with that we have to make use of it. And see here, dear friends, this is the exact file name of the Excel, and we all know that we have several sheets in the Excel sheet. So one by one we can make use of that sheets, and you can also specify the which sheets you want to get the data from the sheets. Okay, and next comes with the XML extension. And we all know that this XML is another structured data format which looks like HTML, and in XML the tags are not predefined. So the first line in the XML we have to just declaration, and next it just goes for the root of that XML. And see here, here we have just specified what is the exact XML file which we are just going to make use of it. And there are so many information how to read an XML file is there, or how to make use of. Here we have just, as we opened an XLS file, or with a CSV file. Here also there are so many methods are there which we can just make use of this XML. And kindly have a look of this, dear friends. Here we have to import that XML dot e3 dot elementary, whereas as et. So where this exact elementary we have to specify for each and every tree, and it is specified, it is in the tree functions, that is which we just say tree root function. And so each and every tree root, how the exact tags has been made, that is the root tag has been made, and what are all the attributes, and what is the exact child root of that XML. So let me just execute it. Yeah, here it is. See here, dear friends, so this is the exact which it just has the value is key and value as like gender and female, and others are all the just having the field is in the sense child tag, and where the main root is the person. And here according to the person it just specify name, country, city and skills. But even though the skills has furthermore as like some more few separate attributes on skills, but even though what are all the fields we are having is totally only 4 fields, and each and everything which we just specify it in a child as a root. Okay, and see here, dear friends, here I have just enclosed it with some examples with level 1 and level 2, and for every file the extension or the data file which it just made it as a text file has been included, and I have just given the link in the description. Kindly have a little look of it, and just have a hands-on of every exercise. And if you have any doubts or anything, kindly comment it below. Thank you, dear friends. Have a nice day.